If you inject nitrous and fuel into an intake designed to only flow air, will it find its way evenly to all the cylinders? In this video, we answer the following question. If you inject nitrous and fuel at the throttle body, or even before the throttle body, on a factory LS truck manifold, does it find its way evenly to all the cylinders? But a question we have to answer before that, does just the air and fuel find its way evenly to all the cylinders without the nitrous? Let's check out our test motor, find those results. To run our nitrous test, we needed a test motor. Our test motor was a bit of a hybrid. It was a 6-liter LY6 short block, equipped with a stage 1 truck cam from Brian Tooley Racing. Now it was also topped with a set of factory 706 heads, except they had a valve spring upgrade. The most important part of all of this was obviously that early truck manifold, which we ran with a factory throttle body and a set of long tube headers. Now the long tube headers allowed us to have 8 oxygen sensors. Unfortunately for us, we were trying to measure the airfield distribution on all the cylinders, but only 6 of the sensors were working. But we still got a good reading and allowed us to find out the difference naturally aspirated and with nitrous. All of this was run with the Holley HP management system. So let's check out those power runs. We'll check out the NA run, then we'll check out the nitrous run. We'll compare the power, then we'll take a look at the airfield distribution. Did it change going from naturally aspirated to nitrous? If we take a look at the power output of our naturally aspirated test motor, this was a 6-liter LY6 with 706 heads, Brian Tooley Racing Stage 1 truck cam, and that factory early truck intake, not the TBS, but the early truck intake. It produced 383 horsepower at 5,400 RPM, pretty low in the RPM range because that was a mild cam, and it had the 706 heads on that LY6 short block. And produced 409 foot-pounds of torque, kind of flat here between 4,300 and 4,700 RPM. So pretty torquey for that with that small cam. Now it doesn't really matter what test motor we chose to run this comparison on. It would do the same thing on any of them for the nitrous because we're just trying to find out what the distribution is. So this is our naturally aspirated power output. Now let's take a look and see what happened when we added nitrous to the equation. So we installed our Nitrous Express fogger nozzle and it combined nitrous and fuel. We injected it into the throttle body. We also positioned it, we tried running it in a longer air tube. We tried running different nozzles from different manufacturers. We put a Zex one in there as well. And basically the same thing happened every time we did it, no matter where we positioned that nitrous, the fogger nozzle. And the 2 fogger nozzles that we tried were one was from Nitrous Express and the other one was from Zex. They both did the same thing as long as the jetting was right for the power output that we were looking for. In this case, we installed 100 horsepower jets from Nitrous Express, and we picked up, you know, not surprisingly, as nitrous usually does, we picked the power output up by about 100 horsepower. So 382, 478, 479. So yeah, a little tuning, we could have got there. We could have got that right at 100 horsepower. So nice consistent gain with the nitrous as it always does. As soon as we activated it, it jumped the torque up, jumped the power output up. And since we had the tune pretty well spot on here, You can see that the power curve, the gain was consistent as long as the nitrous was activated, and we shut it off at around 6,400 RPM. So all that worked out well. But now let's find out, let's take a look at the distribution of the factory truck manifold all by itself without the nitrous. Then we'll take a look at the fuel distribution with the nitrous and see if there's a difference. Now that we've taken a look at the power output of our 6-liter or modified 6-liter truck motor with the 706 heads and the truck intake manifold on it, and then showed you what it made with the nitrous, let's take a look at the air-fuel ratio. As a matter of fact, we're going to take a look at the air-fuel ratio in every cylinder, and I take that back. We're actually not going to take a look at every cylinder because 2 of our O2 sensors, 2 of the 8, were not cooperating for this test, but that's okay. So this is the air-fuel distribution of the factory manifold with no nitrous, just running the intake the way that it is, the way that it comes on the truck. So as we can see, if we take a look at this, and if you look at the numbers over here on the left, this thing, these sensors actually read about 5 or 6 tenths of an air fuel point leaner than the sensor that we run. It's a difference between the sensors that we're running. So this thing's actually a little bit richer than this than we're showing here. But the important thing is to take a look at the difference in air fuel. So let's select 2 of them. You can see they're fairly bunched up. We've got a difference, like we'll take a look at this purple one. That's cylinder number 4. So we've got a disparity of, so that's richest point 12.6. And we'll take a look at air fuel ratio for cylinder number 1. That's 13.9. Let's see, what was its highest point? 14.0. So, and if we take a look where that's taken an extreme at 1 RPM versus another RPM. But if we look at the same RPM, we've got 12.8 versus 13.9. So a difference in air fuel ratio of 1.1 point. So that's the difference between those 2 cylinders. And that's with a factory truck. That's with all the injectors spraying the same amount of fuel. We didn't make any adjustment to it. Now on this particular one, we ran injectors that I had tested before on the airflow bench or on our injector machine, and they were all as even as we could possibly make them. I did not recheck them for this test because we did that before with when I was doing a supercharged application. I assume that they're still good. There might be variances in the injector. I don't think so because we checked them before, but that's something to think about because that will definitely make a difference. But here's the difference in the truck manifold between cylinders. The biggest difference was between cylinders 1 and 4. Now we're going to take a look at what happened to this same air fuel ratio, and the injectors were never moved. They were all in the same spot between the naturally aspirated deal and after we injected the nitrous. Let's take a look at that. These are the air fuel ratio curves provided by after we added the nitrous to our 6-liter with the truck intake manifold. And as you can see, it got richer when we activated the nitrous. You can see that at the 4,500 RPM range. And then over here, it got very rich down here after 5,000. And that's where we picked up a bunch of power with the nitrous because it's injecting the nitrous and the extra fuel. But if we take a look at the air fuel curves, we can see that if you remember on the NA motor with just the truck manifold, we had a variation between 2 of our farthest cylinders that were farthest apart in terms of air fuel ratio. We had a difference of 1.1 air fuel points. So if we take a look at those same 2 cylinders, cylinders 1 and 4, and we measure it here at 1 RPM point, which is the same RPM point that we picked when we measured it with just the truck manifold, we have the same difference from 11.4 to 12.5. So it's 1.1 air fuel ratios difference between those 2 cylinders, and those 2 were the biggest. So judging by this, it looks like adding the nitrous did not change the air fuel distribution going through that truck manifold. It did exactly the same thing as it did without the nitrous, and that's very important because that factory truck manifold was not designed to flow fuel. The nitrous we didn't think would be a problem. I mean, it's a gaseous state, so we thought that would find its way every bit as good as the airflow does. But I was a little worried about the fuel because the fuel is a liquid, and after doing the water methanol test and seeing how that reacted to these long rubber manifolds, I was a little concerned on this nitrous test that the fuel would not be able to find its way. But as we see from this, at least on this small 100 shot, it did not really change it. I mean, the grouping was the same, the biggest difference between the two cylinders was the same, and that stayed consistent both when we ran the truck manifold by itself and after injecting nitrous. Now, I don't know how big of a shot you'd want to run. This was only with 100, and I think if you want to go much over, you know, I'm sure guys are probably running 200 plates on there or something, and maybe the best thing would be if you want to run big shots on a plate or a fogger nozzle in front of the throttle body, run that dry and then add the fuel through the injectors. Now that can probably get you a little bit farther, but ultimately if you want to run a lot of power and you want to make sure that you have even distribution, your best bet is to do individual foggers in each one of the cylinders. That way you make sure. But the interesting thing, that truck manifold, not ideal in terms of distribution, even though it was designed by the factory, I'm sure, to have all of them be even. It's actually not, and nitrous didn't change that. This is awesome stuff. Okay guys, what did we learn? Well, my takeaway from all this, if you want to run nitrous on your LS and it's got a truck manifold, go ahead. It works great. In fact, this test showed there was no change in airfield distribution, whether we had the nitrous there or not. And we even tried different positions for our fogger nozzle. We tried it at the throttle body, we tried it back in the inlet tube in front of the throttle body. We even tried different fogger nozzles. And guess what? They all work great. But there was a difference in airfield distribution, even before we added the nitrous. So what caused it? What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments. Was it the injectors? I mean, I flowed the injectors before we ran the last test, and guess what? They checked out fine. I didn't flow them before this test. Could it be that? Could it be a cylinder making more power than another? Could it be an electrical problem? Let me know. But guys, I want to thank you. Thanks to you guys watching, the channel has exceeded 20,000 subscribers. Also, as this video posts, we'll have more than 1 million total views of the channel. Again, that couldn't happen without you guys, so thanks for your help. But keep up the good work. Make sure to like, share, subscribe, and ring the bell. Let's keep it going, guys. Thanks for watching.